Even in the deepest despair, when the foundations of our world tremble, the wise whisper a secret truth. What happens, happens for the good. Dear souls seeking clarity, welcome to Motive 8 Flow. We are here to navigate the intricate labyrinth of the human experience, offering insights that illuminate the path toward resilience, profound purpose, and unwavering inner peace. Prepare your receptive minds, for today we embark on an illuminating journey, drawing from ancient teachings that challenge our most fundamental perceptions of suffering and success. Have you, in your moments of sincere effort, ever paused to reflect upon the mystery of hardship? Why does difficulty arrive with such crushing certainty, particularly when we have dedicated our full might and utmost diligence toward a desired outcome? We have all encountered those moments when the world seems to conspire against us, when every carefully laid plan unravels, leaving us with the painful conviction that perhaps fate itself is cruel. In those moments of acute emotional distress, it is easy for the heart to conclude that we are cursed, that misfortune is simply our portion. But we must pause and ask ourselves, is this truly the nature of reality? Is it not possible that every taxing experience, every daunting challenge, arrives bearing a lesson intended solely for our spiritual growth? Gautam Buddha, the Enlightened One, offered a radical statement. Jo hota hai, wah अच्छे के लिए होता है. What happens, happens for the good. Yet grasping this truth, truly assimilating it into our emotional framework, is intensely difficult, especially when we ourselves are submerged in the cold waters of pain and anxiety. Imagine, dear seekers, that you are a farmer. You have invested your soul, your strength, and countless hours tending your crops. You have nurtured them daily with meticulous care. Then, without warning, a fierce storm descends, obliterating every harvest you worked so hard to cultivate. In that devastating instant, your heart is consumed by anger and despair. You cry out to the divine, demanding to know, why me? Why must this disaster befall only me? But what if the destruction of that crop, painful as it was a divine intervention, a subtle lesson delivered for your ultimate betterment? Perhaps it was teaching you cultivate with greater foresight and wisdom in the seasons yet to come. In the same vein, when a cherished opportunity slips away, when a vital relationship collapses, or when a deeply held dream remains frustratingly unfulfilled, our immediate response is to label this experience as failure. Yet the Buddha asserts that behind every event, whether joyous or tragic, lies a profound, hidden purpose. Every difficulty arrives with the singular intention of fortifying us, of making us stronger than we were before. If we observe these difficulties with discerning minds, we realize that life's hardest trials are the very crucibles that mold us into superior human beings. They compel us to contemplate deeply, was that which we so fiercely desired truly aligned with our highest good? To help us grasp this essential perspective, let us turn to a timeless teaching offered by the Buddha, a teaching that promises to revolutionize the way you perceive every circumstance in your own lives. This realization underscores the immense importance of maintaining a positive outlook, even amidst the direst trials. Stay with us, for the conclusion of this narrative will affirm within your soul that everything that unfolds truly is for the good. The teaching of the minister. It was a serene morning, the sky a vast canvas of clear blue. Gautam Buddha and his disciple were traversing the countryside. The birds sang in melodic chorus, and a gentle, cool breeze offered solace to the world. The Buddha absorbed every moment with profound intensity, existing in complete unity with the natural world surrounding him. During their quiet journey, they arrived at a small village. Life proceeded at its measured pace. People were immersed in their daily tasks, some plowing fields, others engaged in the commerce of the marketplace. Suddenly, a farmer, haggard, exhausted, and visibly troubled, rushed toward Buddha. His face was etched with deep lines of worry, and his eyes glistened with unshed tears. He fell to his knees before the Enlightened One, his voice fracturing distress. "Revered master," he pleaded, "my life seems to be spiraling out of control. I toil day and night with all my might, yet the results invariably defy my efforts. My entire harvest has been ruined, my family is constantly estranged from me, and my children are ill. I cannot fathom what sin I have committed to merit pervasive punishment." The farmer's voice was thick, pain, consuming despair. A torrent of unspoken questions welled up in his eyes. He paused, his voice trembling, then continued. "I have heard it said that you possess the remedy for all suffering. You proclaim that what happens, happens for good. But I implore you, how can the ruin of my crops, the alienation of my family, and the sickness of my children possibly be for any good at all?" The Buddha listened intently, receiving the farmer's anguish in silence. He gazed upon the deep suffering and profound despondency reflected in the farmer's eyes. Yet, the Buddha's face remained a radiant picture of serenity and boundless compassion. He gently closed his eyes for a moment, as if absorbing the essence of the farmer's pain deep within his own spirit. Then, the Buddha slowly opened his eyes and offered a gentle smile. His expression conveyed deep understanding and infinite patience. In a calm, measured tone, he spoke, "Come, let me narrate a story for you. Perhaps through this narrative, the answers to your tumultuous questions may be revealed." The farmer was momentarily stunned by this response. He expressed his astonishment, "Master, my dilemma is overwhelming, yet you speak of telling a story?" The Buddha maintained his compassionate smile and replied, "The resolution to every complex problem is not always immediately apparent, my friend. Sometimes, to find the truth, we must adopt a completely different perspective on the landscape of life. This narrative will assist you in gaining that essential shift in viewpoint." The farmer hesitated, watching the Buddha. Though still troubled, the raw edge of his agitation began to recede. He took a deep, steady breath and surrendered his impatience, saying, "Very well, master. I am ready to hear your story." He quietly set aside his despair and prepared to listen, fixing his gaze upon the Buddha. The Buddha inhaled deeply and began his narration. "Listen now, and I shall tell you the tale of a king, a story that will illuminate your current distress. Long ago there lived a mighty, benevolent king. He cherished his kingdom and his people deeply, tirelessly dedicating himself to their prosperity. However, he possessed one small, irritable flaw. He often succumbed to fierce outbursts of anger over minor inconveniences. One morning, the king decided to venture into the forest for a hunting expedition, accompanied only by his most trusted minister. The forest was lush and green, the morning air crisp and pure. The gentle chirping of birds and the cool breeze enhanced the beauty of the setting. The king and the minister rode their horses deep into the woods. Suddenly, a wild beast burst forth onto the path directly in front of the king. The king instinctively drew his sword and prepared to strike the animal. But in his haste, the sword slipped. Its razor-sharp edge slashed deeply across his own finger. The king's finger was severely wounded and bled profusely. Overwhelmed by the sudden pain, he cried out in agony and rage, his face flushed scarlet with combined fury and suffering. The minister immediately rushed to the king's side. Upon inspecting the painful wound, the minister calmly declared, "Your Majesty, whatever happens for the good." Hearing this, the king exploded in a furious inferno. He glared at his minister and roared, "My finger is severed. I am bleeding and in agony, and you dare to claim this is good? Are you mocking my suffering?" The minister's voice remained composed and firm. "Your Majesty, I assure you I am not jesting. I speak the truth. Everything that happens is ultimately for good." The king was further enraged by this declaration. He perceived the minister's statement not as wisdom, but as an audacious lecture delivered during his moment of deepest distress. The king, blinded by his pain and fury, failed to comprehend that this injury was destined to become a profound and vital lesson. His anger reached a peak. He instantly commanded his soldiers, "Seize this minister and cast him into the dungeon immediately. Let him realize the grave error of speaking such trivialities when a person's life and well-being are threatened." The minister was swiftly imprisoned. Remarkably, despite his predicament, the minister appeared utterly tranquil and content. A few days later, the king's mood had somewhat improved. He decided to return to the hunt, this time venturing out entirely alone, without his imprisoned minister. As the king rode deeper into the forest, he was suddenly ambushed by a band of indigenous tribesmen. These tribesmen were preparing for a solemn, sacred sacrifice to their deity. When they saw the powerful king, they rejoiced, realizing they had captured the ideal, robust figure for their offering. The tribesmen overpowered the king, bound him with ropes, and dragged him to the altar of their temple. All preparations for the ritual sacrifice were meticulously completed. However, as the king was being prepared for the sacrifice, one of the tribesmen suddenly cried out, "Wait! His finger is mutilated. This man is incomplete." According to the ancient traditions of the tribe, only an individual whose body was entirely whole and flawless could be offered as a sacrifice. Deeming the king unfit for their ritual due to his missing finger segment, they immediately released him. Shaken but safe, the king hastily returned to his palace. As he settled onto his throne, the minister's words echoed in his memory, "Whatever happens, happens for the good." The realization of his grave error crashed over him. He immediately ordered the release of his minister from the dungeon. When the minister appeared before the royal court, the king, filled with remorse and shame, confessed, "Forgive me, my friend. The injury to my finger saved my life. You were right. What happened was indeed for my ultimate good." Then, a curious question arose in the king's mind. "But tell me, my loyal friend, when I unjustly cast you into the prison cell, was that experience also for your good?" The minister smiled serenely and responded, "Yes, your majesty, absolutely. If I had not been incarcerated, I would surely have accompanied you on that hunting trip. When the tribesmen rejected you as an incomplete sacrifice, they would have seized me instead for the offering. Therefore, my imprisonment was also profoundly for my good." The Buddha concluded his tale and turned his attention back to the farmer. He spoke gently. "This story, my friend, teaches us that every event in life, regardless of how devastating it appears in the moment, holds an intrinsic purpose. What feels like a curse today may well prove to be a blessing that safeguards your future. All that is required of us is to maintain patience and unwavering faith." As the farmer listened, a new luminescence of hope kindled in his eyes. He began to perceive that his current afflictions might, in fact, be components of a larger, grander, benevolent design. The Buddha continued, offering a deeper insight. "Understand this truth. Every hardship that confronts you acts as a demanding teacher. It arrives to educate you and to refine you into a superior version of yourself. You view the ruin of your crops, the estrangement from your family, and the sickness of your children as cruel punishment. But the profound truth is that these very trials are occurring to make you wiser, more disciplined, and fundamentally stronger. The farmer nodded, accepting the weight and truth of the Buddha's wisdom, and resolved within himself to proceed through life with renewed inspiration. The Buddha pressed on with his teaching. Have you ever observed a farmer working his land? To prepare the field for new life, he must first break the earth, turning the soil deeply. The earth too must feel a wrenching pain in that moment of upheaval. Yet, that very pain creates the necessary pathway for the seed to sprout and germinate. The farmer looked at the Buddha, momentarily stunned by the apt analogy. He conceded, "That is undeniably true." The Buddha smiled warmly. The destruction of your harvest was likely intended to teach you a deeper, more profound reverence for and understanding of nature's intricacies. Your family's resentment is teaching you the necessity of mending your relationships, urging you to moderate your anger and choose your words with mindful precision. And the sickness of your children may be compelling you to prioritize their health and the care of your own physical vessel. He paused, allowing his words to settle. Every event, every difficulty in your life is merely one thread in a colossal tapestry, a grand design. What troubles your spirit today will ultimately lead you toward profound success tomorrow. But this requires the twin pillars of patience and faith. The farmer took a deep breath, reflecting on the weight of the moment. He then asked, "But Master, why is it so agonizingly difficult to grasp this understanding? Why must we wait so long for relief?" The Buddha pointed toward a massive tree nearby. Observe this tree. It has taken countless years to achieve this towering height. It has endured scorching sun, torrential rain, and fierce winds. Yet, it never once complained. Had it lost patience, it would never have grown so massive and strong. The Buddha offered the final clarification. Life mirrors this process. Hardships serve to strengthen us. We must learn not to struggle against them, but to work with them. A subtle radiance appeared in the farmer's eyes. He queried, "Then is it truly possible that my current sorrows are preparing me for future blessings?" The Buddha answered with quiet certainty, "Yes, it is not only possible, it is certain. When an arrow is shot toward us, we feel pain. But if we learn how to evade that arrow, the very experience of avoiding it makes us stronger and more powerful in the future." The farmer bowed his head low. "Perhaps you are right, Master. Hardship can indeed be a strange form of blessing." The Buddha gazed upon him, his wisdom profound. Always carry this lesson in your heart. Difficulties arrive only to fortify you. Once you fully internalize this truth, no challenge in life will ever possess the power to shatter your spirit. He spoke in a calm, resonating tone. Life presents us with fresh challenges every single day, specifically designed to instruct us. Those who recoil in fear stop their journey where they stand. But those who learn from the struggle invariably move forward. The choice now rests entirely with you. Will you treat these difficulties as your mortal enemies, or will you choose the path that transforms them into your ultimate source of strength? The farmer inhaled deeply and made a solemn commitment to himself. "I vow not only to face my troubles with patience, but also to seek out the learning they contain." Dear friends and listeners, this profound narrative offers us all a weighty lesson. Hard times are an undeniable facet of the life cycle, yet they arrive not to annihilate us, but to elevate our internal fortitude. Often, that which appears devastating today evolves into the source of our greatest joy and wisdom tomorrow. Consider the king. If his finger had remained intact, would his life have been spared? If the mister had not been imprisoned, would he have survived? In exactly the same way, every challenge that enters your world does so with an underlying purpose. We urge you to examine your present struggles through this new lens. Ask yourselves with sincerity, what deep wisdom is this challenge attempting to impart to me? When you embrace this perspective, you will uncover a hidden blessing nestled within every hardship. The profound power of silence. Now, let us turn our minds toward the discipline of inner life. For mastering our external circumstances is impossible until we master the turbulence within. Have you ever contemplated why certain individuals attract respect, admiration, and genuine regard? What essential qualities elevate a person to become a source of profound inspiration for others? The Buddha's closest disciple, Ananda, was perpetually inquisitive. He sought to understand how one could cultivate a life of discipline, tranquility, and motivational influence. One day, while Gautam Buddha was deep in contemplation, Ananda approached him with a heartfelt question. "Revered Master," Ananda asked, "how can a person lead a life that not only grants him inner peace and contentment, but also acts as a luminous source of inspiration for all who observe him?" The Buddha offered a slight, knowing smile, eyes radiating boundless compassion. He responded, "Ananda, I shall reveal to you 10 habits that will not only transform your life entirely, but will also ensure that you are honored and respected by all. These habits will establish deep tranquility within your spirit and make you a guiding light for others. Listen attentively. He began with the foundation. The first habit, speak the truth. The Buddha explained that speaking the truth is paramount. When truth guides your tongue, your mind remains peaceful, your words carry inherent power, and people place their absolute trust in you. Conversely, deceit breeds only illusion and disquiet. Ananda immediately resolved to adopt this discipline, recognizing that truth brought clarifying light even to his own thoughts. The second habit, cultivate compassion. The Buddha instructed Ananda to allow the feeling of profound compassion to reside in his heart. When you comprehend and share in the suffering of others, and when you extend aid, your spirit feels lighter, and people bestow great honor upon you. Ananda observed that compassion provided solace not just to others, but to his own inner being as well. The third habit, exercise patience. The Buddha taught that we must learn to be patient in life. Impatience only multiplies our difficulties, while patience invariably leads us toward finding true solutions. Ananda realized that patient action led to clearer, more accurate decisions. The Buddha noted that these were merely the initial steps on the long road to true refinement. Story of Maanav and the vow of silence. Deep within the dense forest stood the Buddha's serene and beautiful ashram. Here, many disciples lived a life of rigorous meditation and discipline. Among them was one disciple named Maanav, known primarily for his habits. Maanav spent his days engaging in ceaseless, extraneous conversation, preoccupied with the affairs of others, and constantly striving to assert his superiority. Whenever he traveled to a village to receive alms, Maanav was consumed by a burning curiosity to collect stories from the villagers. He would inevitably return to the ashram with a new tale, which he would promptly share with the other disciples. However, his conversations were often polluted with gossip, slander concerning others, and self-aggrandizement. He would boast, claiming, "I hail from a family of immense wealth. I abandoned a life of comfort specifically to pursue the truth here." The other disciples were profoundly irritated by this relentless habit. They observed that Maanav was perpetually preoccupied with proving his intellect and excellence. Yet his actions and constant chatter brought neither peace to him nor happiness to anyone else. One day Maanav approached the Guru, praising his own intellect and great sacrifice. "Guru Dev," he proclaimed, "I have given up everything that others desire but cannot abandon. I am here in pursuit of the ultimate truth, and I am certain I am more qualified than the other disciples." The Guru listened with quiet attention, offering a subtle smile. He responded gently, "Maanav, the pursuit of truth is achieved not through mere words, but through disciplined actions and tranquil mind. Your words are merely inflating your ego. If you genuinely seek true knowledge and found peace, I will assign you a dedicated spiritual discipline, a sadhana." Maanav, his ego piqued, eagerly asked, "Guru Dev, what is the sadhana?" The Guru instructed, "For the next 7 days you shall observe absolute silence, Mana. You are to utter no word to anyone. You must focus solely on the ceaseless current of your own thoughts. Write down everything you perceive or feel, but do not speak. This practice will subdue the rampant internal chaos in you and introduce you to your truer, deeper self." Maanav was momentarily bewildered, but bound by his Guru's command, he acquiesced. He committed to observing the vow of silence for 7 days. The other disciples watched him in sheer astonishment. Could Maanav truly change? Unbeknownst to him, this discipline was destined to fundamentally redirect his life, initiating his true journey toward knowledge and peace, a path only accessible through silence and intense self-introspection. A separate month-long discipline was mandated for all the disciples. The Guru gathered them and announced, "For the upcoming month, each of you must undertake a specific vow, a resolution. This is to fortify your willpower and invigorate your spiritual strength. You may choose a resolution, large or small, according to your ability and resolve. But remember this vital condition. If any resolution is broken, the disciple must immediately revert to his previous daily routine." The disciples, assessing their own capacity, chose various resolutions. Some vowed to abstain from food for 2 weeks. Others committed to 10 days without water. Many chose to dedicate extended hours to meditation and spiritual practice. They presented their resolutions to the Guru and sought permission to commence their discipline. Maanav, however, always driven by the desire to distinguish himself, resolved to undertake the great challenge. He marched directly to the Guru's hut and declared, "Guru Dev, I refuse to take a minor vow. I wish to undertake a great and magnificent resolve, one fitting for a great seeker like yourself. Please, assign me the most unique and arduous discipline possible." The Guru listened and smiled. He reflected that here was one who dared to embrace a formidable commitment. But was this genuine dedication, or merely superficial arrogance? The Guru cautiously responded, "Maanav, are you certain you can fulfill a commitment given by me? It will not be easy. Perhaps it is beyond your current capability. Therefore, I suggest you choose your own resolution and strive earnestly to complete it." Maanav felt a stinging sense of affront. He interpreted the Guru's advice as a lack of faith in his abilities. He hardened his resolve. "No matter what obstacles arise, I will complete the resolve and prove to the Guru that I am capable of great discipline." Maanav firmly stated, "Guru Dev, whatever resolve you impose upon me, I guarantee I shall fulfill it." The Guru looked at him intently and announced, Very well. Your resolve shall be this. For the next 30 days, not a single word shall pass your lips. You must maintain absolute, complete silence. This is your solemn commitment. Maanav grinned confidently. Guru Dev, this is exceptionally easy. 30 days of mere silence? There is no difficulty in that. Please, give me a much greater and more strenuous resolve, one that truly matches my spiritual merit. The Guru looked at him with profound insight and stated, Maanav, this particular vow has never been successfully completed by anyone here. It is far more challenging than you imagine. This is the resolve you must undertake. Maanav nodded confidently, internally determined not to disappoint his guru this time. The other disciples watched with anticipation, curious to witness how Maanav would navigate this grueling challenge. The coming days were destined to bring a seismic transformation to Maanav's life. Maanav obeyed the guru and immediately embraced silence. He left his hut, initially believing the resolve to be utterly simple. The first day passed quietly, without a hitch. But as the minutes stretched into hours, and the hours into days, the burden of maintaining silence began to feel excruciatingly heavy. By the second day, the intense urge to speak had mounted significantly. By the third day, he experienced an odd, suffocating heaviness. By the fourth day, he was consumed by agitation and restlessness. The other disciples conversed freely, laughing, joking, engaging in philosophical debates. Watching them, Maanav felt a desperate, visceral need to share his thoughts, to voice his opinions, and, most importantly, to silence the verbal assertions of others. But his vow restrained him. He spent his days communicating through frantic gestures and expressive facial movements. More days passed, and the discipline of silence began to affect his physical and mental well-being. Maanav fell ill. He suffered from splitting headaches, lost his appetite, and a single obsessive thought tormented his inner world. I must speak. He felt an intense internal crushing, suffocating silently. Finally, he stumbled back to the guru, presenting a piece of paper on which he had frantically scrawled his distress. Guru Dev, I must speak now. I cannot breathe without speaking. My chest is heavy. I feel like I am internally imploding. What should I do? Should I break my vow? The guru read his plea and smiled gently. Vows, in a way, exist to be broken, he mused. However, the one who fulfills their solemn promise strengthens their internal power. And the one who increases their internal power progresses swiftly along the path of spiritual practice and enlightenment. The choice to maintain your vow or to shatter it lies entirely in your hands. If you lack the strength to uphold this small resolve today, how then will you face the much greater challenges that life will surely deliver? The decision is yours alone. The guru's words struck a deep chord within Maanav. Without uttering a single sound, he returned to his hut, locking himself inside. He emerged only for essential tasks, spending the remaining time sitting in contemplative silence. 15 days had passed. By this time, the majority of the other disciples had succumbed, their resolutions having fractured. Yet Maanav remained steadfast. He had not spoken a single word since committing to the vow. The entire ashram was astounded. The man who had once been relentlessly talkative was now the very embodiment of quietude. On the 15th day, Maanav returned to the guru. He presented another written note. Guru Dev, outwardly I am calm, yet internally, a strange commotion rages. My mind is besieged by thoughts, countless complaints, swirling emotions, and profound inner noise shorgle that is agonizingly distracting. Does my vow still hold true even in this state of mental chaos? The guru smiled with wisdom. Yes, your vow continues, he affirmed. But as long as external voices echo in your ears, your mind will continue to ask questions. You must remove yourself from these external stimulations. The mind is conditioned to speak. Until it is deprived of all external triggers, it will refuse to quiet down. Maanav bowed respectfully to the guru and returned to his dwelling without reply. He made the decision to deepen his silence, resolving to strive for quieting of his inner voices as well. The next morning, Maanav departed his hut and walked into the deep jungle. Many days passed, and Maanav did not return. The month allotted for the vow concluded, yet he remained absent. The entire ashram grew deeply anxious. Some speculated that he had been consumed by wild animals. Despite extensive searches by his fellow disciples, Maanav could not be found. Gradually, everyone concluded he must have perished. But the guru held a different understanding. One day, a disciple approached the guru. Guru Dev, what became of our talkative brother Maanav? Was he killed by wild beasts? The guru replied solemnly, It is possible that the animals preyed upon him. However, there is another possibility, perhaps a greater one. He may have found that which he went to seek. The disciple was perplexed. Master, can excessive talking truly be harmful? The guru smiled and spoke profound truth. One of the great tragedies of human existence is that we can never simply remain silent. We are perpetually talking, perpetually thinking. The vast majority of conflict and struggles in our lives are generated by our own worthless, unnecessary speech. The guru elaborated. Conflicts often erupt within families simply because we feel compelled to voice every thought that crosses our mind. We constantly seek to convince others that they are mistaken and that we are definitively correct. In this endless loop, we begin to slander one another. This cycle continues perpetually, and in its process, we forfeit our own peace and waste our precious, finite lives. The guru offered a sobering reflection. In this madness, only a select few recognize the magnitude of what they are losing. The rest remain oblivious to the journey of their arrival and the certainty of their departure. The disciple inquired, Guru Dev, what then is the solution to this constant mental chatter? The guru replied, observing your thoughts with complete total awareness. That is the only remedy for all mental anguish. To live life fully alert in the present moment, to contemplate wisely, and to be deeply immersed in your appointed task, this practice can bring about miraculous transformation. The disciple acknowledged the guru's profound wisdom, paid his respects, and departed. 3 months passed. There was still no sign of Maanav, and everyone had given up hope of return. His brother disciples were slowly erasing his memory. But then, one day, Maanav returned to the ashram. His face radiated deep tranquility. His eyes held a profound depth, and his walk was characterized by remarkable stability. He was utterly transformed. The man who could never be silenced had become a living symbol of silence and patience. The entire ashram gazed upon him in stunned silence. Maanav approached the guru and fell at his feet, tears streaming from his eyes. Yet he uttered no sound. The guru lifted him up and embraced him. With a smile, the guru spoke. You have finally grasped the true meaning of silence, my son. This magnificent transformation is the undeniable proof of your resolve and strength. Maanav instantly became a source of inspiration for all the disciples. He taught them that attaining genuine peace and knowledge necessitates silencing the internal chaos of the mind. The disciples, surprised and overjoyed by his return, encircled him. Maanav began to converse with them with remarkable ease and simplicity. Everyone who spoke with him immediately perceived the miraculous shift. He was no longer the hasty, incessant chatterer of the past. Every word he spoke emerged effortlessly, filled with profound meaning and incredible sweetness. After speaking briefly with his brother disciples, Maanav went directly to the guru. He touched the guru's feet and asked, Guru Dev, am I still silent? Has my vow truly been fulfilled? The guru looked deep into his eyes and smiled. Yes, my son, you are silent now, and your vow continues, perpetually. Maanav explained his journey. Guru Dev, when I first left the ashram, my mouth was closed, but the internal chaos within me was deafening. My mind was a whirlwind of unanswered questions that refused to cease. That is why I ventured into the deepest parts of the jungle, hoping to find external quiet that would finally subdue my internal agitation. He continued. But the further I traveled into solitude, the louder my inner voices screamed. I heard my old words, my complaints, and the bitterness I harbored with painful clarity. It was then I realized that when I used to insult my family, friends, and fellow disciples, and when I indulged in mockery and gossip, I genuinely believed I was superior and correct. But in the jungle, for the first time, I understood the terrible extent of my own folly and error. For a long time in that deep wilderness, Maanav shared, those voices ran rampant in my head. Then, gradually, a day arrived when they all took leave of me. My mind became completely tranquil. In that dense forest, there was no external noise of human speech, and crucially, there was no noise from within me either. It was then, for the very first time, that I comprehended the authentic meaning of mana, of silence. Maanav described his profound elation. When the internal noise finally ceased, I began to hear the sounds of the world around me. The rustle of the wind, the melodic songs of the birds, the serene murmur of flowing water. These sounds had always been present, yet I had never truly perceived or felt them. That day I experienced the inherent peace hidden within those natural sounds. He concluded. That stillness completely overwhelmed me. I finally understood that true happiness is found in that silence, where peace reigns both externally and internally. In that divine moment, I called out to the Creator and wept, "Oh God, what is this profound divine peace?" That day, I finally understood the meaning of my own life. The Guru embraced him. "You have found the truth through your silence," he affirmed. "This is the peace that resides within every living being. But to comprehend it, one must become silent." Maanav's experience became everlasting inspiration, teaching all that true peace is not found in the external world, but in the silence within our own hearts. Maanav, now wholly transformed, asked the Guru, "Guru Dev, why is everything so quiet now?" I shouted. Yet this peace was not disturbed. Everything remains calm, externally and internally. I have spoken with my brothers, I have spoken with you, I am walking and seeing everything. Yet internally, I remain in complete silence and profound solitude. Even when I attempt to create internal commotion, I encounter only silence within. The Guru explained the ultimate truth. As long as we speak incessantly with the external world, internal disquiet persists. But the moment we commence our inner observation, then, regardless of what flows from our mouths, we remain eternally still inside. The majority of the world's problems arise directly from our speech, because we desperately refuse to be quiet. We desire to speak far more than is necessary. He further elaborated, we constantly seek to silence others instead of truly listening to them. Our focus is relentlessly fixed on demonstrating who we are and what we are capable of achieving. This becomes the sole purpose of our existence. All our vital energy is dissipated in worthless conversations. We neither listen to nor attempt to understand others. The Guru observed, people avoid learning silence because they fear it makes them appear weak or insignificant. Yet, the truth is that the root of most worldly suffering is our relentless need to speak. We must speak only as much as is absolutely essential. Unnecessary talk drains our spiritual energy. This habit of endless speech prevents us from ever turning inward. It constantly drags our attention outward. He instructed Maanav, what is waiting outside? Merely a world of suffering. If you wish to turn toward your internal world, you must learn to silence your mouth. This is why all the Buddhas and the self-realized souls sought out solitude and isolation. There, they had no need to speak, or any need to listen. This solitude facilitated their essential internal journey. The Guru confirmed that it is indeed possible to live in the world and yet maintain this inner quietude and solitude. To do so, he concluded, one must conserve the energy that is currently being wasted in few words. When a person achieves this, they naturally evolve into a happy, influential, and virtuous individual. This story serves as a stark reminder, friends. Pointless speech is a tremendous drain on our inner power. Excessive and unnecessary conversation prevents us from turning inward, keeping us entangled in the external world, which is so often characterized by turmoil and sorrow. By conserving your energy and limiting your speech, you initiate the vital internal journey, the sole pathway to authentic happiness and lasting tranquility, guarding the mind against negativity and deceit. Now we turn our attention to the discipline required to maintain a quiet mind amidst the worldly chaos, and how to guard your emotional heart against external harm. In a village, there lived a young man named Sabal, who was perpetually troubled by the relentless stream of negative thoughts in his mind. His mind was never stable. He either lingered in regret over his past mistakes or trembled with anxiety concerning the uncertainty of the future. This mental unrest had crippled his ability to live peacefully. Sabal's attention was obsessively fixed on his past errors. He would lament, if only I had handled that differently. If only I had made a wiser decision at that time. Furthermore, worries about the future haunted him. What if I fail? What will people say if I make a mistake? Will I be ridiculed? This unending loop of negative ideation exhausted his spirit. One day, a friend suggested to Sabal that a highly knowledgeable Buddhist guru resided in the nearby forest. If you present your struggles to him, the friend advised, he will undoubtedly guide you toward clarity. Sabal heeded this advice and traveled to the forest to meet the guru. Upon arrival, he bowed before the master and explained his predicament. Revered guru, he lamented, my mind is never at peace. It is constantly flooded with negative thoughts. I am exhausted by constantly dwelling on the past and fearful of the future. Please, instruct me on how I might empty my mind and achieve stillness. The guru listened with great patience. With a gentle smile, he replied, Sabal, emptying the mind is not a task completed in a single day. It is a long, demanding process that requires rigorous practice, self-discipline, and enduring patience. Sabal was eager to learn. Gurudev, please explain this process. I am determined to master it. The guru elucidated. First, you must understand that emptying the mind does not mean eradicating all thought. It means observing your thoughts without forming any attachment to them. Thoughts flow like the water in a river. They come and go. Trying to stop them is a futile effort. Instead, allow them to flow past and simply become the silent, detached witness. The guru advised Sabal to begin the practice of meditation. Every morning, find a quiet space, close your eyes, and concentrate solely on your breath. When a thought arises, allow it to pass without reacting to it. This consistent practice will gradually enable you to create distance between yourself and your own thoughts. Sabal admitted, Gurudev, this sounds incredibly difficult. How will I know if I am progressing in the right direction? The guru responded, Sabal, when you begin meditation, you will initially feel immense restlessness. But with patience and persistent practice, your mind will begin to settle. The most important thing is to be compassionate with yourself and practice daily. This is the key to emptying your mind. Sabal felt a surge of hope, recognizing a potential solution to his mental turmoil. He vowed to follow the guru's path and dedicate himself to regular meditation to gain mastery over his turbulent thoughts. Sabal declared to the Guru, "Guru Dev, I am prepared to embrace this entire discipline, no matter how arduous it may be. Please teach me the detailed process of emptying my mind and guarding myself against negative influences." The Guru confirmed, "Sabal, clearing the mind and avoiding negativity is a disciplined process. There are 6 primary methods. Listen carefully and implement them sequentially to your life. Method 1. Distance yourself from negative people. The Guru commanded, "The first step is sever ties with those who perpetually make you feel insignificant, aimless, or weak. There are people in your life who boast about their wealth, status, or achievements. They constantly strive to diminish others in order to inflate their own self-image. Such individuals inflict wounds upon your confidence and sow the seeds of fear and failure with their spirit." He warned that these negative people are not always strangers. Often they are family members or close friends who mock your efforts, ridicule your aspirations, or dismiss your deepest thoughts. It is paramount to distance yourself from such individuals, for they can annihilate your self-respect and inject poison into your mind. Method 2. Choose true and inspiring friends. The Guru emphasized that friends exert a massive influence on one's life. Therefore, be extremely thoughtful in selecting your companions. Befriend only those who genuinely support your growth, understand your deepest emotions, and possess a profoundly positive and inspiring mindset. He continued, "Seek friendships from whom you can genuinely learn. Choose those whose company elevates your confidence and who inspire you to achieve your greatest goals. After our parents, friends wield the greatest influence over our character and destiny. Good companionship is vital." Sabal listened with deep concentration. He realized that much of the negativity and harm to his self-esteem stemmed directly from the wrong company he kept. The Guru reinforced the point. "The crucial truth, Sabal, is that you are the average of the 5 individuals with whom you spend the majority of your time. If your close circle consists of honest individuals, honesty will begin to permeate your own being. If they are wealthy, you will begin to move in the direction of abundance. This is why you inevitably become like your social circle." The Guru quoted ancient wisdom. A great philosopher once said, "Introduce me to a person's friends, and I will accurately predict that person's future." Our problem often lies in our inability to say no to people whom we know should be excluded from our lives. We spend time with negative individuals even against our better judgment. Therefore, the single most important first step is to establish boundaries and distance yourself from anyone whose presence breeds unhappiness or stress in your life. If you feel their proximity causes discomfort and internal turmoil, you must learn to decline their presence. Method 3. Live in the present moment. The third essential method for emptying the mind is radical presence. The Guru instructed, "You cannot alter your past, but you possess the absolute power to change your present. Focus all your attention on the now and on those matters that are firmly within your control. Change whatever can be changed today. Dedicate your energy only to tasks that you can perform in this very moment. Exist wholly in the present." Method 4. Consume healthy and nourishing food. The fourth method for calming and emptying the mind is conscious nourishment. The Guru explained, "Our physical body is powered by energy. The quality of our energy is directly determined by the food we ingest. If you consume food devoid of vitality and nutrition, it will inevitably impact your mind and body. Eating dull, nutrient-poor food weakens your mental state. If the body is unwell, the mind can never achieve true tranquility. Physical imbalance leads to mental agitation. We can only sustain a healthy body and a tranquil mind through fresh and wholesome sustenance." Sabal received new direction from the Guru's teaching. He realized he had to reform his lifestyle and dietary habits to achieve the mental peace he craved. The Guru reinforced the concept. Though negative and inferiority thoughts may arise frequently, mastering these thoughts is the absolute key to success. As the saying goes, a healthy mind resides in a healthy body. Therefore, maintaining a strong and healthy body is our fundamental responsibility. If you find it challenging to meditate, at least dedicate some time each day to solitude. Spend time alone, consciously observing your behavior and the precise nature of the thoughts arising in your mind. The Guru elaborated the power of stillness. When you practice solitude or meditation, you gradually begin to know yourself better. A profound stillness settles within you. Impatience recedes, and you become less inclined to speak excessively. You begin to notice the subtle details of your surroundings with greater intensity. Slowly, you become calm and steadfast. This is the stage where your inherent attraction naturally increases. You stand out, even amidst a vast multitude. Meditation reduces the intensity of mental chatter. Negative thoughts diminish gradually, and sometimes they vanish entirely. Method 6. Seek new places and travel. Finally, the Buddhist Guru revealed the 6th method. An old adage states that a long journey provides greater wisdom than reading 100 books. Buddhist monks travel frequently throughout the year for this very reason, the Guru noted. Travel injects freshness into the mind, keeping it energized and consistently enthusiastic. He advised, "Travel to places endowed with natural beauty. As you travel, direct your full attention to every detail of your surroundings. This discipline will enhance your powers of observation, allowing you to immerse yourself in the natural beauty and the subtle sounds of the environment." The Guru's closing counsel on travel was crucial. When you journey, exist completely in the present. Forget the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. That is the essential technique for emptying the mind. Armed with this profound wisdom, Sabal realized that achieving mental peace required fundamental changes to his life. He resolved to improve his thoughts, his diet, and the quality of his social connections. The Buddhist guru gave Sabal one final, overarching instruction. Wherever attachment exists, bondage will follow. And wherever bondage exists, there will be suffering. You must liberate yourself from these attachments. The illusion of external detachment. Following a teaching, a man approached the Buddha the next day. "Revered Guru," he stated, "the discourse you gave yesterday is meant for me. I now understand that my suffering stemmed from the attachments and bondage I maintained. I have now severed all ties and come to you. My sole purpose in life now is to attain the ultimate truth. Please allow me to remain in your service." The Buddha smiled gently and inquired, "Which attachments have you relinquished?" The man replied, "I have parents, my wife, and my young child at home. My wife is often ill, and my life was steeped in sorrow before I heard your teaching. But now I understand my attachment to my wife, child, and parents is the root of my misery. When I witness my wife's suffering, I am anxious. Sometimes, even wish she would pass away so I could find relief. At times I felt my life had no purpose. But now I realize that maintaining these relationships was the cause of my sorrow. I have abandoned them all and come here. My only desire is to know the truth." The Buddha questioned him, "Are you completely ready to sever these bonds?" The man confirmed, "Yes, I am fully prepared to relinquish everything." The Buddha pressed him, "Are you absolutely certain you have forgotten nothing? Is there no old relationship lingering behind?" The man replied with confidence, "I have forgotten nothing. I have abandoned everything. I have left my family behind and will never look upon them again." The Buddha smiled mysteriously. "Very well. Rest here tonight. Meet me in the morning." The man spent the night immersed in the tranquility of the ashram, reflecting on how he had wasted his time until now. He felt profoundly that he was about to become part of a magnificent purpose, one that would reveal the true meaning of life, thanks to the Buddha's grace. The next morning, the man approached the Buddha and awaited his instructions. The Buddha commanded, "You must travel east. In a village there you will encounter a woman. She is a wise soul. Whatever she gives you, you must bring it back to me." The man immediately set off. The heat of the day was intense, and he soon began to feel hungry. The journey was long, and he grew exhausted. Intermittently he thought, "If I were home, I would be resting and eating instead of walking in this brutal sun." Finally, he reached the village. There, he found the woman the Buddha had described, a woman of astonishing beauty. He stood frozen, captivated by her sight. The woman looked at him and smiled. "Please, come inside. I know that the great Buddha sent you. You must be hungry. I shall prepare food for you." The man was utterly astonished. This was the very food he had been obsessing over during his journey. The woman served him the meal. The man was mesmerized. The fatigue and hunger he had felt on the road seemed inconsequential now. As he ate, his gaze fell upon the woman's feet. They were exquisitely delicate and beautiful. The woman smiled knowingly and said, "The feet of the Buddha are supremely beautiful. The one who finds a place at his feet needs no other feet in life." Hearing this, the man lowered his gaze in sudden shame. Once he finished eating, he felt a longing for rest, though he knew he had to depart. The woman anticipated his thought. "You have eaten. Rest for a while. I will fan you." The man was amazed again that his unspoken thoughts were instantly fulfilled. He rationalized it as mere coincidence. He lay down on a mat to rest. The woman began to fan him. The man furtively kept glancing at her face, her beautiful, soft feet. Her grace and tenderness captivated him completely. He thought internally, "What an exceptionally beautiful woman. How tranquil, sweet, and lovely her voice is. She should have been my wife." He began composing mental poetry about her. A little while later, he recalled his mission. He told the woman, "I must depart now and return to Master." Yet, as he was leaving, he felt an overwhelming desire to gaze on her beauty one last time. The woman, sensing his inner turmoil, looked at him and said, "Do not be consumed by the body. It is nothing more than a temporary assembly of flesh, bones, and blood." The man was shocked. A sudden, deep realization struck him, and the veil of illusion and attachments instantly ripped from his eyes. He recognized that what he had perceived as magnificent beauty was merely transient and perishable. Startled, he asked, "You are a clairvoyant. You can hear my unspoken thoughts." The woman smiled gently. "No, I am not clairvoyant. Through the grace of the Buddha and diligent spiritual practice, I have learned to understand life and recognize the subtle tendencies of mind. That is why I tell you that the body is nothing. It will inevitably perish." The man felt profound shame. He thought, "This woman who knows all the sinful thoughts in my mind has treated me with such immense respect and honor. And yet, what dreadful things was I thinking about her? I am a sinner." Overcome with embarrassment, He could not look her in the eye. He immediately departed and returned to Buddha. Upon his return, he confessed everything to the master. Gurudev, I have made a terrible mistake, he admitted. The Buddha smiled and said, I was already aware of the tendencies of your mind. Tell me now, are you truly free of all bondage and attachment? The man replied, yes, I have discarded all the illusions and attachments you spoke of. My attachment was to my family, and I have abandoned them. The Buddha clarified the essential truth. Abandoning external relationships and attachments does not make us free. Bondage and attachment reside within us, not in the external world. You abandoned the bond of your family, only to instantly attempt to forge a new bond, one that resided entirely within your own mind. That internal struggle is what makes you feel like sinner today. The man confessed his painful truth. Gurudev, you are absolutely right. I wanted to escape my wife. For a long time, she was doing all the work, and I was unable to earn much. I was seeking to run away from my responsibilities. When I heard your discourse, I convinced myself that family was the great obstacle, and abandoning them would lead to the attainment of truth. But I was utterly wrong. I now realize that the greatest obstacle to truth is not my family, but I myself. The Buddha summarized the human condition. People listen to my teachings only through the filter of their own self-interest. Where my words serve their selfish ends, they comply. Where they clash with their interests, they reject them. Attachment, desire, craving, lust, and anger. These are all things we perpetually search for in the external world. Craving gives rise to desire, desire leads to lust, and the frustration of lust gives birth to anger. These are all profoundly interconnected. He continued, whenever you feel anger, you invariably blame others, claiming, that person provoked me. You never stop to reflect that the anger originates within your own self. If you truly choose not to be angry, anger cannot arise. Similarly, bondage is not outside, it exists in our minds. That is why we all suffer, because our minds are held captive by attachment and illusion. The man fully comprehended the depth of the Buddha's words, realizing his error. Gurudev, I now completely understand that the true bonds reside within, and it is these I must relinquish. The 6 steps to avoid deception and maintain integrity. Let us shift our focus now to practical methods for navigating the world, guarding ourselves against deceit, and ensuring that our genuine kindness is never exploited. Those who obsessively focus on the negativity of others live a turbulent life. If we aspire to peace and happiness, we must learn to consciously disregard the ill will of others. We must support those in need around us, for helping others brings peace to ourselves. We must recognize there are aspects of life we cannot alter. We are compelled to coexist with things we dislike. You cannot change the bad things. You can only learn strategy to avoid being affected by them. Let us now explore the practical techniques Gautam Buddha revealed to his disciple for safeguarding themselves against being deceived. There was a young man named Maanav. One day, consumed by rage, he fled into the jungle. He repeatedly punched a large tree, venting his frustration, convinced that someone had grievously cheated him or perpetrated great injustice. His knuckles were bloody and bruised from the repeated impact. Near the location was a cool, clear mountain stream, where a Buddhist guru customarily bathed every evening. This was his established routine. As the guru approached the stream, he saw the young man shouting, crying, and savagely punching the tree. He was entirely alone. The guru felt a deep concern. He worried that if he simply ignored the boy, he might resort to self-harm. He paused, watching the youth intently, but said nothing. After a few minutes, the young man became aware that the silent man was observing him. He felt an acute awkwardness and wondered, what does this person want? Why is he watching me without saying anything? The boy, feeling deeply uncomfortable, finally demanded, Sir, why are you standing here? What do you want from me? The guru answered calmly, I am neither restraining you nor speaking to you. If I am causing you no difficulty, why are you agitated by my presence? Hearing this, the youth exploded in anger. I have the greatest difficulty. I despise this world. Everyone here is a deceiver. No one truly cares for anyone else. He burst into fresh tears, pounding the tree with renewed force, while the guru watched him in silence. The guru made no attempt to comfort or calm him, which struck the boy as profoundly strange. Eventually, the youth stopped crying and confronted the guru. You are an odd man. A person is weeping for you, and you stand motionless, doing nothing. You must be a strange, hard-hearted ascetic. The Buddhist guru replied with profound serenity. Today, I could offer you my shoulder. I could wipe away your tears, but this would not solve your fundamental problem. For a brief time, your mind would find peace, but then you would return to the same life, dealing with the same people, the very ones who are not here to comfort you now. Someone else will deceive you, someone will exploit your kindness, and you will once again torture your own spirit. The guru explained, there are countless people who will offer to wipe your tears, but a person who offers true wisdom is rare indeed. I wish to share some essential knowledge that will ensure you are never deceived again, and that your genuine goodness is never exploited. He invited the boy. I am going to the nearby stream to bathe. The water there is extremely cool and pure. If you wish, you can join me. It is better than remaining here in torment. A bath in the stream will cleanse your mind, heart, and spirit." The young man followed the guru. The forest path was dark and silent. As they walked toward the stream, the crunching sound of their feet on the dry leaves echoed through the woods. It was a full moon night, and the moonlight cast a beautiful, mystical glow across the forest. On the path, the boy said to the guru, "Master, your life seems carefree. You have no worries. Do you understand how many kinds of treacherous people exist in the world? Have you never faced these problems?" The guru smiled quietly. Every person in the world faces unique challenges, but the person who cultivates internal peace and balance is the one who can truly help himself and others. They reached the stream. The guru told the boy, "Cool water here will bring you peace. It will stabilize your mind and diminish your inner rage." The guru bathed, and the boy followed, stepping into the stream. As the water touched his skin, he felt his rage and worries washing away. His heart became lighter, and his anger subsided. The youth then spoke, filled with raw emotion. "So many deceivers, so many cunning individuals. And the most painful fact is that the betrayal comes from our own loved ones, those we cherish and consider family. What does it feel like when they betray us? Sometimes it seems this world is not meant for the kind and compassionate. It belongs to the deceivers. They flourish here and live in joy, while people like us who care for others live a life of constant sorrow. This is the harsh reality of the world. We must die in agony every single day." The guru responded patiently. "Do you truly believe the life of a renunciate is easy?" He challenged the boy. "You are assured of food and peace. We sometimes go hungry for days. If we receive alms, we eat. Otherwise, we sleep on an empty stomach. This is the reality of the ascetic life. We sleep on the hard ground and we're only a simple loincloth, regardless of the weather. Does that sound easy to you?" The boy fell silent. Then, he conceded, "You are correct. Struggle exists in both lives, the worldly and the ascetic. Worldly life is pleasant, only as long as there is peace in the family, as long as there is no betrayal, and as long as our loved ones do not exploit us or lie to us. Otherwise, life becomes a living hell." The guru stated a profound truth. True renunciation must come from within the heart. Only when the mind instructs us to follow the path of renunciation can our ascetic life be successful. If you seek to become an ascetic merely to escape problems caused by others, your life of renunciation will certainly fail. It is better to adopt certain rules in your worldly life so that others cannot deceive you. The first rule: never reveal emotional weakness. First, understand that deception primarily targets those who are emotionally weak, those whose hearts are easily melted, and who cannot bear to see others in pain. Such people are highly susceptible to being cheated. The guru explained how vulnerability is exploited. Any person can approach you, exaggerate their troubles, and act miserable in order to manipulate you. They might be lying, acting out a facade of suffering, and you, believing them, become an easy mark. When you later discover the deception, your inner spirit shatters. Therefore, be extremely cautious. Never let anyone realize that you are emotionally vulnerable or that your heart is soft. If they perceive this weakness, they will certainly attempt to exploit you. The guru stressed the deterrent effect. When people realize there is no advantage in attempting to manipulate you, that you are stern and firm, the deceiver will not dare to approach you. They will seek an easier target. The second rule: take your time before trusting. The guru continued, "We often place trust in others too quickly. Building any relationship requires significant time. Time is the necessary ingredient that allows you to observe the goodness and the flaws of the other person. Only with the passage of time does the true character of a person, whether they are fundamentally good or bad, become absolutely clear. Therefore, do not trust anyone too quickly." The third rule: beware of flattery. You must understand the immense danger posed by flatterers. Some people have a habit of praising others incessantly. They will praise you to your face, use wonderful words about you, and make you feel deeply loved. But their flattery is a cunning trap, a device used to win your affection. This manipulation only succeeds if you are prone to vanity. If you remain unaffected by their compliments, they will eventually end in the effort. The guru pointed toward the stream. He added a vital worldly instruction. In worldly life, one crucial consideration when helping others, whether financially, physically, or in any capacity, is to assess whether that person will ever be capable of helping you in return in the future. They disrobed and plunged into the cold stream. The icy shock instantly washed away their weariness and sorrow. After their bath, they sat beneath a tree near the stream, continuing their profound discussion. The fourth rule: learn to ignore people initially. The guru explained, learn to ignore people right from the start. When you ignore someone in the beginning, those driven by selfishness or greed will naturally drift away. They may attempt to approach you once or twice, but they will eventually establish distance. However, those who recognize your genuine humanity and goodness will remain, even if you initially disregard them. This is the defining quality of an authentic person. He differentiated this from familial relations. Our true loved ones may quarrel with us occasionally, but this does not imply that they will abandon us. They may be angry for a short time, but we reunite soon after. That is the true meaning of family. The final and most important rule: maintain constant awareness. The Guru concluded with his most significant teaching. This is essential. No matter what you achieve, deception can always occur. But if you keep your eyes, ears, and mind perpetually open, you will quickly discern the motives of a deceiver. When you remain present and fully aware, you can read the desires of a person standing before you merely by looking into their eyes. He emphasized the frequency of human oversight. Too often, we intentionally blind ourselves. When you desire to forge a strong relationship or offer assistance, you must first investigate the person thoroughly. Ask their family and relatives about their nature and how they behave toward others. This will provide you with clear, accurate information. By doing this, you can fully understand the person before deciding to place your trust in them. The Guru's final caution: if you desire a long-lasting friendship or a relationship built on trust, you must first understand that person's history and reputation. Know their character of others, and gauge what people think of them. Only then can you make sound judgment about whether they are worthy of your trust. He finished, "If you adhere to these principles, you will never be deceived, nor will you have to suffer the agony of future regret." As they spoke these profound words, the Guru and the young man emerged from the forest. They parted ways, returned to their respective lives, resolved to implement these timeless teachings to guide their futures. Dear discerning hearts, we thank you for traveling with us through these powerful narratives of purpose, silence, and self-mastery. We encourage you to embrace the challenge of viewing every difficulty as a teacher, to see the profound strength that lies in inner silence, and to use conscious awareness as your shield against the external chaos of deceit and superficiality. If these insights have resonated deeply within your mind and illuminated your path, we respectfully ask that you engage with this material. Please like this video, share your contemplative thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to Motivate Below. Your engagement fuels our shared mission to bring wisdom and transformation to the world. May your days be guided by patience, fortified by stillness, and defined by the quiet confidence that what happens always happens for the unfolding of your greatest good. Until we meet again, may peace reside in your hearts.